Good evening, and welcome to Lamar CISD Superintendent Search Town Hall meeting. My name is Kay Danziger, and I represent District 2 of Lamar CISD Board of Trustees. On behalf of the board, and we have tonight Ms. Mandy Bronzell, our board vice president. And on behalf of everyone else on the board, I want to thank you for taking the time to participate in tonight's meeting, whether you're with us in person or online virtually. I'm joined tonight this evening with Mr. Alton Fraley, the Senior Search Consultant for JG Consulting, the search firm that the board has hired to help us search for the next superintendent of Lamar CISD. As part of the superintendent search process, we've hosted 3 of these town hall meetings. Tonight as our last one, and we've been gathering valuable input for our community on the traits and characteristics we would like to see, or you would like to see, in the next superintendent. The ideas and input you share with us and through the superintendent search survey online, which you can still access at lamarcisd.org, will be incorporated into our superintendent leadership profile to help us find the right superintendent for Lamar CISD. So thank you for coming tonight and for being online virtually. If you have questions or comments, you can put in the chat box of your Zoom and we will answer your questions. And without further ado, I would like JG Consulting to take over and help us get some good information tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Danziger. Good evening, everyone. My name is Alton Fraley with JG Consulting. Glad to be with you all again. I want to thank the LCISD Board of Trustees for trusting us with this search process. This is a very important step in the future of Lamar Consolidated ISD. This is a step you've not had to take for the past 20 years. It's been a very unusual situation in a positive way to have maintained the superintendent and stable leadership for the past 20 years. This is highly unusual. The average tenure superintendent is about 2.8 years. So to have had Dr. Randall for 20 years says a lot about not only him, but also the community, and especially the Board of Trustees he's had to work with over the years. And so we really appreciate the chance to work with you all. Lamar Consolidated ISD is my home now, and so this is kind of personal for me in that I have a lot of neighbors who have children in the schools. Our three are out of school, thank goodness for that. Still have one on the payroll, working on that though. And we hope to get that taken care of in another year or so. And I'm sure he's ready to get out of the house as well. I'm putting pressure on him, all right? So the way this works is we have folks here. We had a great get together last night at Fulshire High School. We were at George Ranch last week. We've had several Zoom calls with the community, with parents, with staff, and we've gotten some tremendous feedback. And I'm proud to say that's been pretty consistent. There's a lot of satisfaction with the district, and rightfully so. There's some hopes, there are some aspirations, there are some understandings of the challenges, mainly being a fast-growth school district. And I'm very familiar with that as I worked next door to you guys in Katy. I stayed 9 years as superintendent there, so I know about fast growth. And I know the challenges, but also the opportunities that it presents for you guys as well. So I'll have 4 questions that I put on the table, and we'll talk about those. We'll get feedback from folks in the audience and also from folks online if you put them in the chat. I'll get the tablet, and we'll read through those and share those for the record as well. And the plan going forward is we'll meet with the Board of Trustees on the 21st next week, and we'll finalize the draft profile, which will be used to advertise the job, kind of as a job description, but also just really articulating the expectations from the community for the Lamar Consolidated ISD. Once that is approved by the board, or if they sign off on it, or just kind of give a thumbs up to it, our plan is to open the application process, our portal, January 22nd. It'll be Friday of next week. We'll have it posted nationwide. We'll reach out to folks that we've heard about or that we're aware of. As I said, this is a very personal search for me. This is my school district, and I know a lot of quality leaders across the United States, and there's some I wouldn't mind taking a look at from Lamar Consolidated ISD as well. So once we do that, we'll have each candidate complete a video interview that we'll submit to the Board of Trustees as well. So they'll use that along with the paper, application, resume, letter of interest, references, those types of things. The board will look at those things and they'll decide which of the candidates they want to bring in for an actual in-person interview. And typically they'll do an in-person interview with a larger group, 6, 7, 5, 10, whatever they want to do. And typically they wind it down to 2 finalists. They'll bring those 2 back in and they'll do a thorough job of vetting along the way. Well, we'll do that on behalf of the board along the way. And then the board will decide to, hopefully, from that group, select a lone finalist. And based on Texas law, once the board identifies a lone finalist, they have to wait 21 days before they can actually extend the contract. So during that 21 days, there's a lot of conversations back and forth between the candidate or the lone finalist and the board, typically with the attorneys to work on the contract, those types of things. And we'll continue doing a deep vetting of the candidates over the 21-day period. The story about why it's 21 days, but I won't go into it tonight. But we'll do that at the end of 21 days, sometime in early April. We hope to announce to the community the next superintendent. It goes without saying that this person will have some huge shoes to fill. I've known Dr. Randall for a long time, but I've gotten to know him a lot better the last few weeks because I see how he's impacted other folks in the community, and that says a lot about a person's character. So these are big shoes to fill, but you have such an attractive school system, such an attractive community out here in LCISD with the various municipalities, 385 square miles, of lots of quality families, great kids, a lot of folks with a lot of hopes and dreams and desires for their kids. And that's what LCISD is all about. So having said that, we'll put the first question on the table. The first question is, with all you know about LCISD, looking forward for the school system, what are your hopes, dreams, aspirations for the school system going forward? And we ask that in the context of, this is not an evaluation of the past or the present. This is, what do you want to make certain is present going forward in LCISD? Saying you want a quality school system doesn't mean that you don't have one now. It's saying you want to keep that going forward, all right? So this is a very safe zone. We'll take what is shared, not who shares it, and we'll help create a nice profile for the candidates who are out there to take a look at, because they're interviewing you as well. They want to make certain that they can be successful here with their skill sets. We will do a job of vetting them and looking at their past performances as well as our familiarity with them as people to bring the best folks here. So if you're online as well, what are your hopes, dreams, visions, aspirations for LCISD? If you have anyone in the audience want to contribute, if not, we'll just kind of wait and do the old game show, as the comments come in. They're coming, we're looking. Now, here's the challenge we've run into. Now, I won't say 100%, but a large percentage of this community is relatively happy. And when that's the case, folks, they just kind of sit back and let the folks do what they do. And with that in mind, you know, if we don't get a whole lot of participation tonight, we have more than enough to work with. As I said, we've had a lot of consistent input, which says a lot about how you can be a quality school system. We're all pulling in the same direction. Okay? Have some? Okay. All right. We have 2 comments in from the folks online. Our dream is a future where all children continue to feel valued and accepted. Again, a future where all children, like Dr. Randall says, all means all, where all children, each child feels valued and accepted. We talked last night about, we have a spot for you here. We have a place for you here at LCISD. Another comment, Dr. Randall was a superintendent we all felt was available and in touch with the community. We want someone who is in touch and doesn't just send others out to interact with families in our area. All right. We hope that LCISD can be reorganized as a district that people want to be part of. Hope that each school can be seen as desirable, successful, where every teacher and student is excited to show up every day. Another person said a superintendent with classroom experience. All right. Good feedback. Thank you. righty, thank you. Question two. What are some things you'd like to celebrate? What are some wins, some things you'd like to celebrate here in LCISD? We've talked a lot about fine arts. We've talked a lot about athletic accomplishments. We've talked about having a rating for the school system. And as we've talked before, that A rating is a lagging indicator. The A rating is the result of all the work you guys have put forth over time. So there are plenty of good things to work through and celebrate. Any other celebrations out there? Okay. And we'll go ahead and put the third question out there as well. The superintendents, they tend to create a 90-day entry plan or 100-day entry plan, whatever it is. So what are some things you'd like for them to have top of mind in terms of what are some challenges you think they need to be prepared to address? What are some challenges that you see coming up now and perhaps in the future that you want them to have top of mind as they come in for maybe the first 90 days or so? So think about that. We'll do that, the wait time, right? Yeah. And the final question that we have to look at is number 1 and number 4 they kind of overlap a little bit because we talk about vision and we talk about experiences and characteristics and traits of your next leader. What are some characteristics, experiences, traits you have, you feel that the next leader should have to help them be successful here in LCISD? Experiences as one person said in the classroom, so therefore maybe moved up through the educational field from the classroom to administration and whatnot. Private sector experience. Heard a lot about finance. You have a great financial situation, but with growth, how do you maintain that? All right. How do you maintain that? All righty. A couple of the celebrations came into is I love the diversity of our district. The person says, I want there to be greater focus on the long-standing traditions of Fort Bend County and the multi-generational nature of our district. My parents, myself, and my children are all products of LCISD. I would love to see more focus on why this matters and how to encourage this because people that are attached to the community are going to bring their time, their dollars, and their full support to making schools strong. So definitely have a respect for the history and the legacy of LCISD. Someone who has been a school principal and district leader and have had experience with the fast growth district. Our STEM programs, meaning that you have a space for every child. And as we continue to grow, the superintendent needs to tackle equity within the district, make sure that kids at some of the older campuses are getting the same opportunities in education as kids at the newer schools. So that's very consistent with what we've been hearing. There's a lot of respect and desire. Make sure that, again, as Dr. Randall says, all means all, that each and every child has access to resources and supports, help them grow and expand their experiences and become all they can be, become all the things they haven't even thought about being. So we're very excited about that. We're excited about that. You know, there's also the trustees, and then you guys want to add to it, or? Yeah, I mean, we are on the same page. That has been it really has just been amazing. But that shows me, it says to me that you guys are in touch with each other. You're paying attention. You're paying attention. And you are aware of why you're a fast growing district. You know, whatever it is you have out here, folks want some of it, and they're moving here. So, whereas we don't want to get arrogant about it, we must appreciate and respect that you've done some good things. You've done some very good things over time. And folks want to be here because a lot of your families, they really have choices. And the fact that they're choosing LCISD coming from other places even is truly amazing, truly amazing. So, anything else coming in online? All right. I think we've captured a lot because, again, all we've seen thus far it's been very consistent with what we've been getting. And I'm just very, very grateful to be a part of this process. I want to thank the Board of Trustees. This is not an easy task because we hope to have some very tough choices for you to make among some very top talented candidates. That's our intention, that's our expectation. Right off the bat, we've had a lot of, as we told you before, a lot of inquiries from folks. I got 2 phone calls yesterday morning from superintendents about it. They're all confidential, of course. There'll be others that we'll talk to as well from across this state, across this region, and even across the nation. All right, we're good. Well, thank you all for coming out. Thank you all for being online as well. Thank you for your input, and we'll see you on the other side. Have a good evening. Thanks a lot.